The new Free Republic of Florida is now the single most powerful nation on the planet, bar none. And the leader of the free world, he doesn't sit in Washington, D.C. anymore. He sits in Tallahassee, Florida. Now, I know those are some big statements. I'm sure I've got some people already typing. Well, I have proof for those statements. Big proof, actually. Some of it's even biblical. When 2020 hit, I wasn't surprised that the state of Florida resisted in the way that it did, but I was shocked that other states didn't. I've spent a lot of time asking God, what was the difference? There are good people all around the South, and many southern states tried to mimic what Florida did, but not in the way that we've done it. What was the difference? Well, those prayers have finally been answered. Yesterday, the leader of the new Free Republic of Florida hosted a conference. There were physicians, virologists, epidemiologists, leaders from all around the globe that attended this conference. Not led by Washington, D.C., not led by Joe Biden, led by the leader of Florida, with the one big question, where do we go from here? Florida, you got it right. How did you do that? And what should we do to mimic what you've done? It has to do with state of the mind. Earlier today, those of you who are members have probably already seen the brand new psychological operations video that we've posted over at Patreon. It is probably one of the most controversial I've ever done, if not the most controversial. It has to do with conversations, difficult conversations, because of difficult times that are coming ahead that people are just not prepared for. If you'd like to get read in, if you'd like to participate in a gloves-off, uncensored discussion about what's coming, join us. $1 per month. Less than that, 3 pennies a day, lowest allowable level if you sign up for an entire year. Fully refundable in the first 90 days if it's not for you. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are like, Florida Maquis, you better have that proof you talked about. Okay, here we go. Now, this is going to have to be something where you get out of your emotional brain for a minute and start thinking about things. I'm sure a lot of you are like, Venezuela, what does it have to do with Venezuela? It has everything to do with Venezuela. Many of you have heard, I did a video on it a couple days ago, that the Biden administration went down to talk to President Nicolas Maduro about oil. But wait a minute. Hold on, back up. I thought random guy named Juan was president. He named himself president. Why can't he just name the oil the possession of the United States? Can't he just do that? He can just say it. I, Juan Guaido, self-named president of Venezuela, now say that all oil in Venezuela belongs to Washington, D.C. Begin pumping now, send the ships. Why can't he do that? People talk about the Citgo 8, the Citgo executives that are being detained down in Venezuela. Why can't Juan Guaido and his buddy just say, I name them released. I'm going to make a phone call, and that'll be it, and they'll be on a plane back here to Florida. Why can't he do that? In fact, let's go one step further. Why can't this guy Volodymyr over in Ukraine, why can't he just name himself president of Russia? I'm sure D.C. would recognize him. I'm sure everybody D.C. strong-armed into recognizing him would also recognize him, and he could just order the troops home. War over. It's just that simple, right? That's all it takes. It's just someone naming themselves in charge, and then boom. But what's the real story? What do we know? Believe it or not, we have to go to Game of Thrones, the HBO series, to figure this out. This was a character named Varys, and he was quoting someone who had already said this in real life. Some say knowledge is power. Some tell us that all power comes from the gods. Others say it derives from law. Power resides where men believe it resides. No more and no less. It is a shadow on the wall, yet shadows can kill. In another scene in Game of Thrones, character Peter Baelish, speaking to Cersei Lannister, tries to convince her that knowledge is power. And she tells her guards, seize the man, cut his throat. Oh, stop. Oh, wait, I've changed my mind. Let him go. Step back 3 paces, turn around, close your eyes. And then she gets up right in this guy's face, cold as ice, and says, power is power. Power is where men believe it resides, always. It is the reason random guy named Juan cannot just order Venezuelan oil into the hands of Washington, D.C. He can't just release the Citgo 8. Nobody would obey him. This guy can't be president of Russia. Why? What's the reality? The reality is people believe in Governor DeSantis. He only has to say the word and we'll do it. Because we believe in him and we believe in his actions and we believe in his vision. There's not, and I'll say this with full confidence, there is not a soldier, sailor, airman, marine, or guardsman that would defy, in Florida, that would defy Governor Ron DeSantis in the name of Joe Biden. In reality, power resides where men believe it does. There's nothing Joe Biden could say that would ever get a Floridian to turn on another Floridian. All he's got to do is speak the word, and the militia is ready to go. Joe Biden could tell his Capitol Police tomorrow to go arrest Governor DeSantis. Never happened. If any of them even tried it, they would end up in cells themselves. They wouldn't get within a mile of him. Why? Because 22 million, the vast majority of 22 million Floridians stand with Governor DeSantis. Now, why? Why do people believe in Governor DeSantis? Why do they think he's the greatest leader we've ever known? It's right here. And this is the biblical part that's going to throw a lot of people for a loop. Governor DeSantis said, people know when they come here on vacation, they're going to be treated with respect. They're not going to have to show medical papers to get a beer. What does this really mean? What have we seen Governor DeSantis do? Big checks to whom? Firefighters, first responders, EMTs, teachers, police, servants. Florida is a nation of servants. We are a tourism-driven industry. We are a nation of servants. Everyone who is here is somehow tangentially tied to the service industry. Matthew 23, 11 and 12. The greatest among you must be your servant. The greatest among you will be your servants. Whoever exalts himself will be humbled, but whoever humbles himself will be exalted. How many times have you heard the governor say, we need to take the masks off of these banquet servers? It's horrible. Off of these people that are serving us our food, washing our dishes, driving our taxis, our Ubers, our Lyfts, or whatever, working on the cruise ships. That was the first fight the governor picked, was for the cruise ships. And what is a cruise ship? It is just a giant boat with a bunch of servants on it. Florida is a nation of service, of servants. We are where the world goes when they need to be served. And this is what the Bible says. There is no greater amount of humbling than you can do than to be the one who brings the food, who brings the beverages, who washes the dishes, who busses the tables, who sweeps the floors, who cleans the windows, who does all of those things so that you can have that experience. And it isn't just the U.S. that comes here. It's the entire world that comes here. They come here have come here for years and years and decades because of the service There are a lot of places in the world that are sunny. Mexico is sunny. But there's no place quite like Florida. And when it comes down to my statement about the military and being the most powerful nation on earth, we have 101 F-35s at Eglin. We have the command center for all of Southcom. We have Special Operations Command. We have more ships than I can count, and I guarantee you, if it came down to a shit-eating contest between whether they listen to Governor Ron DeSantis or they listen to Joe Biden, guess who they're going to listen to? They listen to him because they believe in him. And the military is literally the ultimate level of service. All of you out there who have ever put on a uniform, down in the comments, you better back me up on this. You sign away your life. Meaning they tell you when to get up in the morning. They tell you what to eat, when to eat, what to wear, how to wear it, how to make your bunk, what your job's going to be, how you're going to do your job. Everybody does it all the same. You are a servant 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Strange that Florida is the number one destination for retirees, the number one military retirees, number one state in military friendly. More military folks here than you can shake a stick at. Servants, all of them. That is the key for Florida. That is the key. Power is where men believe it resides. And I'll let this statement from Cersei Lannister stand on its own. It's kind of an allusion to what we talked about today over at the Florida Maquis Patreon channel. Power is where men believe it resides. And right now, nobody believes it resides in Washington, D.C., and the entire world believes it resides in Florida, as evidenced by yesterday's 2-hour conference with people from, and yes, every little square you see here is somebody from around the globe. A doctor, a physician, a leader, an epidemiologist, a virologist, you name it. And we now stand alone in this. What next? How do we go forward? And how do we, more importantly, not ever let 2020, 2021 happen again? The events of. Would love to have you over at the Florida Maquis Patreon channel. It's only $1 US. $1 US. And I know people think, well, gosh, isn't beans, bullets, and Band-Aids, food, and weapons, isn't that all important? It is. It is. But having your mind right and having conversations and being able to think, not feel, think down the road. 3 steps, 4 steps, 5 steps, 8 steps down the road. What if this? What if that? Wargaming things. Having these conversations. We would love to have you there. For the same reason, random guy named Juan has no control in Venezuela. For the same reason, this guy could not even be named anything other than maybe assistant nighttime comedian in Russia. Power resides where men believe it resides, period. And that's the reality. Those with power know how to wield it. Those who don't have power, it becomes very apparent very quick. So I'll leave it there. God bless, like, share, subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.